All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. My goodness. We are on the Life and Health Show, and it's a beautiful, rainy, and gloomy day. It's not that good, but it's a good day. All right, all right. And thank you for joining us. If you're watching us live or you're joining from the replay, we are here and we're going to be sharing a lot of good information. I'm Dr. Oteng, and my beautiful wife is
Dr. Gifty
Oh,
Oteng.
come on, man. We are here to share together. We want you to bring your comments, your questions, whatever it is that you can bring, because we have a lot of information to share, and share the stream to wherever you are watching us from. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna, as I said, go straight onto our slide. So the real full extent of our topic is those of you watching from YouTube, you can see the slides here. It says rapid stroke response, 8 quick steps to halt an impending stroke. That's what we're going to be talking about. 8 quick steps to halt or to stop an impending. No, halt is a big word. Come on, man. Basically, eight quick steps to stop an impending stroke in someone. Now, if you can tell that it is happening in you and you have the ability to do some of the things we're going to show, then of course you can do it for yourself. But for the most part, it is you helping somebody who is about to stroke or who is stroking out. And if you know, hopefully somebody else knows. And if it's your turn, they will be there to also help you out. And these are very important things that everybody should know. Small fact. So because it's rampant, and that's exactly why we are going to talk about that. So with that being said, I think that we have an outline here that we're going to be following. And the first one, I'll go the first, and then I'll let Gifty go, and then I come so that I won't be doing all the talking. The first one is we're going to be again reviewing the statistics about stroke, brain stroke, that is happening in the US for the most part.
And we will also go over the signs that we have to be aware of, so that if somebody is stroking out, what are the things that we will look out for, so that we know that definitely there are certain things that we have to do.
All right, all right, all right. So we're going to be looking at the signs, and then from there, we're going to be doing some acronyms that we can use to remember when somebody is stroking out and what we can do. And it's basically stroke itself. We may not use that, but at least we're going to be talking about what we call fast or be fast. Fast or be fast. And all those things are going to have meaning. So we're going to be explaining those. And then?
And we will go over the steps that we have to do quickly in order to save the person from getting to the worst stage of stroking.
Definitely, we're going to go over the steps that we're going to employ you to do, and from there we're going to be also going to talk about a few tips to prevent strokes from happening, to prevent you from having a stroke. So a few what I call stroke prevention tips in that regard. All right. So with that, I think we can move forward unless you have anything else.
Yeah. So you were saying that we have to be aware of these signs. I pray that with all that we've done before this point, we wouldn't get to that point, that our family or our loved ones are going to have strokes. So we have to be aware. So as we have the saying, prevention is better than cure. So if we can do certain things to prevent our loved ones or ourselves from getting stroke, is the best way to go around it than to wait for somebody around us to get stroke and for us to know and act accordingly. But in case that somebody do have stroke around you, what are the things that you have to do to save the person? So I think you have to pay attention and learn these tips that can be very helpful in times of need.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. That's a very important point. So we just don't want to show you how to prevent strokes when it's already happening. We have a lot of other videos that prevent or help you prevent stroke from happening in the first place, so that you even get to this far. But like she said, it's a matter of life. Even if you do it, somebody around you may not. So it's good to have these things at your fingertips, so that if somebody needs help, you can help them as much as possible. And that being said, do you know, I know somebody, I don't remember the name, who actually saved somebody on the plane just because of their training in the health care. And, somebody was, losing their life, and they sprang up into action and they saved that person's life. And this person became the hero. And we don't want you to be a hero because we don't want anybody to stroke out. But at least we give you the tips in case you have to be a hero, then you'll be the hero. All right. With that being said, now we're going to actually just start thing, right? Can we go forward?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So, what are some of the things that we are going to be looking at? I think we already went through this, right? All right. So, we are going to review the stats. And I think you had a statistician.
Yeah, I think we mentioned this last week that every 40 seconds, someone in the US has a stroke. Every 40 seconds. And every 3 minutes, 14 seconds, someone dies of stroke. And every year, about 800,000 people have stroke. So the numbers are very alarming. Every 40 seconds, somebody has a stroke.
Every 40 seconds.
Every 40 seconds. So knowing these tips may help somebody around you.
Definitely. So by the time, how many people, you said 40 seconds, somebody has a stroke. Every 3 minutes is when they die.
Every 3 minutes.
Every 3 minutes.
14 seconds.
Every 3 minutes, 14 seconds, approximately, somebody dies of a stroke, brain stroke. So if you are found this video, don't just browse up like people do in TikTok. Stay put and watch, because it may help you, or it may help save somebody else's life. It's a very common thing, even though it has not happened to you yet, but it's happening to people all around you. And so we got to stick to the end of the video, or to the end of the show, to know what we can do in case somebody is passing out due to stroke. And then also I want to I always want to put the numbers into perspective. So it's every 3 minutes. Our show usually is 1 hour, and so by the time we finish this show, sad to say, 20 people would have died from stroke.
Wow.
This is where sometimes I want to hit my that is sad. I mean, much as you don't want to think about it, that's the case. It's the numbers. It's worked out. 20 people will be dead by the time we finish this episode. So sad. So I hope you're going to stay by and watch. So if somebody begins to stroke out near you, you can spring into action and do something and say that, you know what, I learned something from that channel, and I'm going to spring up and help that person potentially save their lives. So that is very important. Very important. All right, let's move on, right? All right, so with that then, the first thing we are going to be talking about are the signs of an impending stroke. You got to know somebody is having a stroke before you can spring into action or help them out, right? So yes, let's talk about some of the signs. And the first one we have on our screen is sudden numbness or weakness. The numbness can start from the face. This lady, you may think that she is doing the makeup, but she's feeling to see if her face is numb or not. Hopefully she's not. Yes, but sudden numbness is something that is common with an impending stroke. So if you are with somebody, whether or not they have the risk factors, and all of a sudden they are feeling numb, whether it's in their face, whether it's a weakness in their arm or in their legs, in their neck, wherever it is, if they can author it out, sometimes they can't even speak it. But if they can tell you that all of a sudden I'm feeling numb, my hand doesn't seem like I can move it or I can feel anything in it, that may be a serious sign of an impending stroke. So that is one.
Yeah. So like starting from your head, one half of your face may feel numb. Numbness is just that you don't feel your face. You touch your face, you feel like you don't feel it. If like your
Sensation.
hand is, you're cold or warm, you don't really feel it in your face. And you feel weakness, mostly one side of your body. You feel so weak. You can't even lift your arm, right? That weakness can be a sign that somebody may be having stroke. So that's a very important sign that you have to remember in case you want to be sure. For all that, the lady is doing a makeup and you're like, oh, I have to spring into action. So this is one sign that you look out for: numbness.
Numbness and weakness, either in your left or right arm, in the face, or most of the time our eye level is towards the top of the body, so you may not even observe it in the legs, but it may be weakness in the legs or weakness in the arms, wherever the weakness is, or like she said, maybe half of your face, there is some sudden weakness there, and if that's the case, then we may need to spring into action. And the signs are not usually alone. So if it is weakness in this arm, some other sign may come up. And then with that, let's move on to.
So I think the most important word here is for sudden.
Sudden, yes.
Sudden. I think you mentioned it. So normally you feel numbness, weakness in your body overall. You are that kind of a person. So it's nothing to worry about. But if you don't feel that, then all of a sudden you feel that numbness and weakness. That is something that you have to pay attention on somebody, of course, right?
If you feel it yourself too, and you know it's not something that you're used to, tell yourself, am I getting a stroke, or what is this? And that's a good point you brought out. It's supposed to be sudden, and I know some diabetics have some numbness and tingling of your feet and stuff like that. So if you're diabetic and you have some numbness somewhere, especially if it is all the time you feel the numbness, it does not mean that a stroke is going on. But if all of a sudden, like she said, if it's a sudden onset, it's not happened before, and this particular weakness or numbness is leading to other things, like it's not just your face or one side of your face that is numb that you don't feel, but even that arm, the same side on your arm too, you don't feel, then spring into action. Call somebody to help you out, because that is a sign that a stroke may be happening. So that is something that we got to be very careful about. Now, with that, we can move to the next one, right? All right, so let's move on to the next one then. The next one is confusion and difficulty with speech. If you are having or seeing somebody who is having a stroke right there and then, you can tell they are confused. And it's obvious, right? That something is happening in the brain. And so if you see confusion, you spring into action, especially if it is accompanied with the numbness.
Right.
If somebody's saying that, why can't I feel anything in my arm? And then you just try to talk to them and they don't seem to make sense. Confusion is in. There is stroke happening. It's most likely going to be stroke. I don't know how many differential diagnoses that will include both numbness and then confusion at the same time, or numbness and weakness at the same time, and all of which are also sudden onset, which just came. When you say sudden, it's just boom, it happened at the same time or happened at once without any cause, any particular thing showing. It's just boom, it shows up. Then you know that a stroke may be impended, a stroke may be happening, and you got to spring into action ASAP. We're going to talk a little about the speech.
And even with the confusion, right? They all of a sudden wouldn't know where they are.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes they wouldn't know where they are. They wouldn't know even their name, and they wouldn't even know the day of the week. Like nothing makes sense. Whatever you ask them, they are not able to communicate, and you can see that they are really confused. And sometimes they can't talk. They have difficulty speaking, right? So you can see that they're slurring. The words are not really coming out well. So the confusion, then slur speech, and numbness, definitely it means that something is going on.
Something is going on. Something is going on. My goodness, something is going on. And the other thing is that sometimes it's not just that they are confused, but they cannot comprehend. So you tell them about something and they don't understand. So confusion is one, but then comprehension is another. So, and I'm not talking about an older folk with dementia that is, confused. I'm talking about a young man, relatively young, somebody who always articulates well, who comprehends well, who speaks well, and boom, They don't make sense.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may think they are joking. Check it out. They may not be joking. And so that is a sign that a stroke may be happening, especially when you have yet another sign accompanying that. So, like we said, there's weakness in the arm, or weakness in the leg, or facial numbness, or facial drooping. Then you know that if confusion or slurred speech or inability to talk is there, come on, man, that's a stroke right there. That is a stroke coming. In that case, you have to spring into action. And we're going to tell you the action you got to take. But at least for now, we want you to know the signs. That is a positive sign that something may be going on in the brain right there and then. If it is you, of course, call for help. If it is somebody, spring into action. I'm going to tell you what they are. So, slurred speech, difficulty speaking, confusion, and difficulty comprehending easy stuff, easy things that you would think anybody would understand and take, respond. You will speak to them and they cannot even utter a word back. They are struggling to speak and words are not coming. The words are withheld. That is a sign. So we can move to the next one. All right. So the next one is sudden vision problems. Come on, man. Sudden vision problems. And it is also a sad case. It's a sad case to have vision problems. And again, it's a sudden. You want to start with that?
Yes. So like the person may be having blurred vision, right? It's not clear. People around them. So sometimes some people will hold hand in front of them to see whether they can see your fingers. How many fingers am I holding? Like 2 or 3. You can see that they can't really see well. Then you can say that definitely something is going on.
Something is going on. And then the other thing is it may not happen in both eyes. It could be in just one eye. So they can say that I can't see in one eye. And like this gentleman, he may be blinking, trying to see that, everything is okay. Just ask them what's happening. What's happening? I mean, it's not easy to just walk to somebody and say, especially if you don't know them, what's happening? Why are you blinking like that? This gentleman we are showing is blinking like there's sand in his eyes. But if it is because of a stroke, he may be having difficulty seeing. And it could be both eyes or just one eye. And if they articulate to you that all of a sudden, the key word again, all of a sudden, I was seeing all right, but boom, right now I can't see. What just happened? What just happened? I was seeing all right. Now I can't see. It is not any witch or witchcraft doing them. It is stroke coming. Come on, man. It is your old stroke. It is stroke that is happening right there.
Yeah.
And so we got to spring into action.
Yeah, and like we said that they will have slur speech too, right? So maybe they are trying to see, they are blinking their eye, and you ask them and they can articulate. They can't say anything.
They can't say why.
They will look at you. Sometimes they will try to speak something, but nothing comes out because of the difficulty in speech. And sometimes because of the confusion, they can't really tell you what. But you can see that they're struggling. You can see that they are not all there. Then definitely there is something if you can do to help.
If you can do something to help, oh my goodness, you got to help them. If there's anything that you can do to help this gentleman blinking and blinking, I'm scared for him. He cannot see. A stroke is happening. All right, so now the next one, right? We can go to the next one. The next sign of an impending stroke is sudden loss of balance and dizziness. Sudden loss of balance. Like this gentleman we are showing, he was just running all right, and all of a sudden he falls down. He did not trip. It was just straight course, easy run, and boom, he started going on one side and he falls down. They may not fall, but at least the idea here we are trying to share is that there is a sudden loss of balance. Their gait becomes imbalanced. There's a tilt in their gait. All of a sudden, this person has no leg problems. This person has no issues with gait. And boom, suddenly they become unbalanced. They become, unstable, I should say. Sudden loss of balance. Or they may say that they are dizzy. Their world is just spinning around. Something is going on in the brain, and it is most likely a stroke.
Yeah. And that could be the weakness that we talked about too, right? Because they're so weak.
For the balance, yeah.
Yeah, they can fall and you can see that they will be trying to they'll be holding something because they are dizzy. There will be a little swing and all that happening. That can be a sign that you can look out for.
Definitely. So they will be dizzy. They will not be in a balanced state. Their gait may be abnormal. And the key here is it's all of a sudden. It's
All
not
of a
something
sudden.
that has been happening. If already they use a walking stick,
walker.
a walker, and they are already, tilted, that's not the time to tell them, I think you got a stroke. No. That's not when the stroke is happening. A stroke is happening when the person is normal. I mean, by normal, I'm saying that their gait is already known. I mean, if they are already using a walker and then something happens and it's a stroke, they may fall.
Right.
Or something else will happen. But if all of a sudden somebody who has no gait problems, no gait abnormalities, somebody who doesn't have dizziness as an issue of their health, somebody who doesn't have any of those things we have mentioned, and then suddenly there's a gait problem, there's an imbalance, then you know that a stroke may be happening. And especially if this person we're talking about is also having some of the earlier symptoms that we mentioned. So that is balance, sudden loss of balance and dizziness for you. All right, so we can go to the next one.
Yeah.
All right, so see what next one is. The next sudden symptom of an impending stroke is sudden severe headache. Oh, come on, man, that's another one. It's another one. It's so hard. Come on, man. That is sad to have a severe headache. And some people have had severe headaches that preceded their strokes. They did not know that this was a stroke coming. And so they stayed home and took some Advil or some Tylenol or some painkillers and thought that the headache was just going to disappear. The next time they found themselves, they were in a hospital bed being treated for stroke. So again, we're not talking about somebody who has regular migraines. We're not talking about somebody who has cluster headaches. We're not talking about somebody who has any headaches of any sort. This is an incidence of a sudden onset, something that just happened, just boom, unexpectedly, it happens. I'm not saying that if you have
unexpected headache.
if you have unexpected headache, all of them are strokes. No. Neither am I saying that if you have regular headaches, when you are getting a stroke, you won't have headache. You will still have headache. But this headache we are talking about, I mean, even if you have a migraine, there are signs that lead to your migraine, right? You have an aura. Some people have some blackness. Some people, they can tell that this is a migraine coming out. Yeah. This migraine is coming. But I'm talking about the person who has no idea, nothing like that happens, and boom, severe headache. Again, the key to is sudden, and it is also severe, very problematic. That is a sign that a stroke may be happening.
Right. And in conjunction with the other symptoms that we mentioned, right?
Yes.
So if you have that severe headache, in addition to you not having a coordination, balance is off and all that, then that can be something you can consider that stroke may be hitting hard. Yeah.
Definitely. And that's a key. And if you want to know your headache is a stroke headache, remember some of the other signs we have mentioned.
Symptoms, yeah.
Maybe you also have a loss of vision, or one eye you can't see in one eye, or apart from the headache, you have numbness in your face. I mean, some people with migraines, they also have numbness. But if you have migraine and it's a numbness from migraine, there's not going to be another problem like loss of balance or dizziness. Probably not. So there's got to be additive signs to make you know for a fact that this is a stroke coming. And so I know we are mentioning a lot, so we're going to be teaching you how to just remember these in a simple acronym when we get to it, because it can be a lot. You can say that, how can I know all these if I'm having them, or if somebody around me is having stroke? How can I figure it out? How can I figure it out? I'm just going to forget. We're going to go there and show you how.
And you were saying that sometimes with a headache, somebody would take Tylenol or Advil and it goes away.
Or paracetamol.
Something,
ibuprofen, and then it goes away.
It goes away and they stay home. So that will be the mild stroke, right? And we know that some people overlook these symptoms, the mild stroke, and you don't want to overlook it, because if you are able to get rid of the symptoms, if the dizziness, you just lie down, or maybe the headache, you take Tylenol and it goes away. Maybe something more. If it's a hemorrhagic stroke, there'll be bleeding in your brain that you may not be aware of, that the Tylenol or the rest is not going to fix that. So there are instances that you don't want to overlook some of the symptoms and the signs. Sometimes you have to take yourself, if it doesn't get to the point that you can handle or control the situation and you are able to control it, you have to follow up with doctor's visits so that the doctor would take their time to really look into whatever had happened to you.
Definitely. That's a very, very important point right there. Very, very important. There's she alluded to TIAs, transient ischemic attacks. Some people have mini strokes, and because it's not leading to full paralysis, or because their hands or legs are not completely shut off, they think that nothing happened. But they may have seen all these signs, but for some reason it resolved. If they resolved, it doesn't mean that you are off the hook. It's only telling you that you are lucky for this time, but next time it's going to be big time. And so, in order for next time not to happen, you got to see your doctors and ensure that you are treated, especially for cholesterol and your blood pressure, your blood sugars, to make sure that all those things are taken care of so that a next attack doesn't happen. Otherwise, TIA or transient or mini strokes, like she described, are just a prelude. It's just leading to a massive one that can potentially take your life. So that's a very important point there, that don't take all the headaches for granted. You don't have migraines, but once in a while you have a headache. And this brings a point that I had at my practice. I had this lady come, and I could tell from her face that she was suffering. She said she has a severe headache, and she has taken ibuprofen and Tylenol, acetaminophen, and the headache is not going away. In fact, when I saw her, I was concerned, especially when she said that. So the first thing that comes to your mind is, does this person have some of the risk factors that could actually make a stroke? What is her blood pressure at the moment? At that point, you can check your cholesterol. So the first thing I asked, what did you take? She told me she took extra strength Tylenol, and it still didn't go away. And I could tell that she's drained from the headache. And so right there and then I told her to check her blood pressure right there so I can see how her pressure is. And this happened this week. She sat down and she took her blood pressure and it was normal. And after I saw that it was normal, I was calm. That doesn't mean she's off the hook, all right? But at least I can tell that maybe she's not getting a stroke. That calms me a little bit. If at that point her blood pressure was off the charts, I would have potentially called an ambulance for her, because you don't know what is the cause of that severe headache that is actually making her demeanor change, and which is also not going away with the painkiller. So you have to put all these things together. How is your blood pressure? How is your cholesterol? Is your blood pressure under control? And all that. If everything is good, your sugar is good, your cholesterol is good, your blood pressure is good, and the headache comes, you may potentially feel like maybe it's not. But even that, you still have to at least talk to your doctor about it, especially if it is more frequent, so that an underlying workup may be done and the diagnosis may be found. Because severe headache, as we're saying, can be a sign of a massive stroke happening. Some people have died, and the first thing that came was a severe headache, and they stayed home. Come on, man, don't let that happen to you. Right? Don't let that happen. That is a sad case. Sad case. All right, can we move forward? All right, so in that case, we're going to move forward to the next one. And the next, so we're actually done with the science. So now we're going to be showing you how to basically put the science together and look at somebody and tell them what to do, or and show you what to do next. Okay, so we are using the acronym. There are several acronyms. One is BFAST, and the easier one to remember is FAST. In fact, there's another acronym called stroke itself, but we're going to stick to the FAST, or maybe BFAST, since that is the easier one to remember. And The key is to quickly observe these things and respond appropriately. So fast. That's why I like that. Fast or be fast means that time is of the essence. In a stroke, let's actually talk about, I think we had it on there that we explain why it's important to act fast. In a stroke, if you remember in the beginning of our series, we said that stroke is happening two ways. Either a blood clot is forming or a bleeding is going on in the brain. So clot or bleeds, okay? And all that is happening is brain death or brain cell death, what we call cerebral death of a cerebral cell death. So the brain cells are literally just dying. And so if you can take action, what you can do is first of all, you can stop more brain cells from dying, and then you can prevent some of the cells that are about to die from dying, and potentially also reverse some of the damage that the stroke may eventually lead to. And all of these depend on how fast you take care of them. And that is why I like the acronym FAST. So if somebody is having a stroke and you have an idea it's a stroke, you better be fast. Act fast. Come on, man. You may not be able to stop the stroke right there, but if you act fast, you may prevent it from getting worse and potentially killing the person right there. So it's all in the speed. As a matter of fact, if you, with the technology these days, if you have a stroke and you are able to know, or whoever is around you is able to know that you are having a stroke, and right there and then they can get you to the hospital, especially where we are in the US, you may actually be able to completely reverse your symptoms. Some people can walk again, do everything as if they'd never had a stroke. And it all depends on how quick you are able to be transported to the hospital where you can be taken care of. Because there are medications that can be used to reverse the blood clots, and also medications that can be used to reverse the bleeding or to stop the bleeding, and medications that can be used to heal those cells that are being affected. And it all depends on time. It's all about time. Time is of the essence in an impending stroke if you want to save somebody. All right, so with that, let's move on. So we're using the acronym FAST.
So with the time, you said that in stroke, time is life.
Time
right?
is life. Yes, I have it on a future slide that is coming. But it's good you brought it up now. We are going to say it again. In a stroke, or if somebody is having stroke, time is life. Time is no money.
We don't need the money.
You don't need money for anything. If somebody is having a stroke, time is life. If you can get them help, you may be able to save them. And that is why we say time is life when there is an impending stroke happening. All right, so let's use these acronyms that we have here. FAST. F as in Frank, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, T as in Tom. I have to spell it out for our viewers on TikTok because they can't see our presentation. Yeah, so FAST, time is fast. And can you start with the F?
Yes, so the F is face drooping. So I think we talk about the numbness and the weakness in the face or one side of the body. So F is like drooping of face. So you can look at the person and you can see that maybe one side of the face is a little sagging. It's down, it's drooping. So that can be a sign that somebody is having a stroke. So F is face drooping.
Face drooping for the F in fast. Face drooping for the F in fast. Now, as a matter of fact, you can add all those other weaknesses that we said. You can say drooping of the hands, drooping of the legs, whatever it is. As far as you can remember, the F stands for facial droop, whether one side or both or however it may appear to you. You know this person and you can tell that one side is sagging, it's not normal. And you try to talk to him, he can't do anything. As a matter of fact, when we use the acronym SMILE, we don't have time to do that. You can try and tell them to smile and they cannot smile because of the droop. Because of the droop. And so that is a key, so you remember. So fast, facial droops. And then I'll start off with the next one is the arm weakness, which I alluded to. I called it an arm droop, right? But arm weakness in a stroke, if the stroke hits one side of the brain, the other side of the body is affected, right? So if the stroke is happening in the left side, then of course the right side will be affected. If it's happening on the right side, the left side of the body physically will be affected. And so if you see weakness, you don't need to know which side of the brain is being affected. All you got to know is that there is weakness in the arm, in the arm. And you may not be able to look at the legs and tell, because what if they are sitting down? And for the most part, as I said, when we are looking or talking to people, we look from top. You don't talk to somebody and look on the legs. So the first place you might be able to see is the face, if it's drooping, and then next down is the arm. And so fast, F for facial droops, and A for arm weakness.
So the arm weakness, maybe they will have difficulty lifting their arm, or you can see that it's all sucked to the side, droop. So,
and if you're not sure, you can test it. You can tell them, raise your hand for me. Come on. If somebody's having stroke, be that doctor. Just ask them questions. Don't be shy. You see those commercials on TV. People eat some sandwich, and all of a sudden they get that energy and they are acting like doctors, right? This time you are watching this show. So if you see somebody having stroke, use this. Trust me, you will save that person's life. And tell them that you got a degree from Dr. Oteng's channel. All right. So you want to talk about the next one?
And
S?
the S, is it C?
S, slurred.
Oh, fast, right? So fast, the S in fast is slurred speech.
Yes.
Yeah, like we talked about, that they have difficulty speaking. So that when they try to speak, you can see that it's slur. It's not clear. They are not clear in the words and in the pronunciation. You can see that it's not coming out well. So that can be a sign that somebody's having a stroke here.
It's a sign. Again, you can test. You look at their face, you try to make them smile, the smile doesn't come. There's a droop. And you tell them, raise one of your arm, raise this arm. And he does, or she does it. Raise the other arm. And they can't. Raise the left arm, and it's down. Something is happening. And the next test is to ask them something that should demand a response. You can even tell them, tell me your name. And if they cannot speak or they say it mumbling, then you know that there's slurred speech. So this fast key or acronym can tell you that this person or that person is having a stroke. And if it is in you, I don't know how you're going to test it in you, because you may be all affected. You may not be able to test. But at least if you know this information and you recognize that your face is drooping and your arms are weak, you don't even need to try and speak. Just call ambulance. And you can't talk. Yeah. So that is the sign that there is stroke happening. So fast, F-A-S as in Sam. And the last one is T as in Tom, or as in time, I should say.
As in time.
T as in time. And again, that is what we were trying to say, that time is life when it comes to stroke. You have to, if you see these three things, the facial droop, the arm weakness or leg weakness, the slurred speech or the inability to even speak, then the next thing is the time. And this is where saving somebody comes to pass. Because if there's nobody there to call an ambulance or to take them to the hospital, this person may proceed into dying or to severe stroke, which may completely take away the functions of her body. But if you know this, just by remembering that the guys said fast and FAS are all seen in this person, let me call 911. In the US or wherever you are, call the ambulance, call the emergency support people, and let them take care of this person ASAP, because that's how you save their lives. And if it's in you, you take yourself there or call 911 for yourself. That's how you reverse those signs of a stroke right there.
And you said time is of essence, right?
Time is the essence, and time is no money. Time is life.
Time is life. You don't want to waste any time. Some people will wait for, maybe it will resolve by itself. Let me give you water. Maybe sit down still. Let me see. Let me watch it.
Maybe he's hungry.
Yeah, something. No, you second guess yourself and you're not sure. And you are wasting time,
You are killing them.
Without knowing though, right? So
now you know.
Now, okay. So these three things: the face is drooping, slurred speech, and weakness in the arm or in the leg. Then so you have to do something. It's better to be wrong, So, like, if you call 911
Mm-hmm.
and you try to take them to the hospital yourself, or that, and you go and it's all false alarm, it's way better than to wait and to see if they will recover. So it's very important that you act right away when you see these three signs.
Very, very important. Better don't be like, oh, what if they go and nothing has happened? I've cost them money. Now they're going to charge him a big hospital bill. Forget about those. You didn't know, right? You are
Time
trying
is
to save
life.
them. Yes, trying to save them. If you did it for three people, I bet you at least one of them would be saved. And you never know which one person is the one with a true stroke happening. But most likely, if these three things are there, I can bet you, even if it's not a massive stroke, it may be a TIA, and you would still have helped them. You would still have saved them from that mini stroke, which could have led to a more severe kind of stroke that could have taken their life. So don't feel bad about what if. Think about it now and what you could do to save them. Because we have heard of people having massive strokes and dying right out, just right there. Stroke, they picked them up and they died. So if you were there and were able to catch these signs and were able to stop it from becoming that massive, you would have saved them. No, the sad thing is when you save them, people, because they don't see the negative, people don't think you did something good because nobody saw what would have happened. Nobody saw that you were going to die.
Right.
So it would be like, oh, you didn't do anything. You actually saved a life by doing that. So if you are not sure, that's why you have to remember fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, and then slurred speech
Slurred
or
speech.
not able to speak. Those three things happening, it's most likely going to be a stroke. So don't second guess yourself. Make sure you call for help for such a person before it is too late. All right. And we can move on, right? All right. So in this same line, now we are going to hit about some of the things. This is where the title of the show actually comes in. So the first thing was the intro, because you had to know what the signs of an impending stroke is. Right now, what do you have to do? We've said one, right? We've told you all about the signs, the 8 things that you got to do. The first one is the science. We finished that. So we're going to go through 7 things quick that you can do to save the person's life. And the first one, as we have alluded to, is to act quickly. Act like there's nothing else to do. Act like that is what matters. Act like this is what is going to save that person's life. Act like you are the Jesus of your time. Saving people's life is what you do. You got to call the emergency services right out. If it is in the US, it's 911. In Canada, I don't know, it's 999, wherever it is. In Europe, wherever you are watching us from, what the number of ambulance is, call and get the person help. As long as you know these signs, the fast have been seen, definitely call and get them help. So that is what I would say for that. The second thing you have to do.
Yeah, and the third thing, I think we have it here as stay calm and reassure the person. So if the person is all confused or scared and all that, you are the good Samaritan, the one who is coming in
The
to
good
help.
Samaritan, right?
You know, you have to be composed. You have to calm the person, because if you are going to be anxious around the person will be even more scared or more worried. So you have to calm yourself down. Then after you are calm, just calm the person. That is going to be okay. You reassure the person that help is on the way. Just hang in there. Help is on the way. So by saying that in a calm voice, in a collected form, definitely you are helping the person to wait for the ambulance to come in. So stay calm and reassure the person who is going through the situation.
My goodness, that's so important. Stay calm, right? Stay very calm. Because if you don't take care, you can make them stroke even quickly, more quicker than they were about to stroke. If you saw all these signs and you know for a fact this thing is a stroke and you are freaking out, you're going to freak out a person and they will stroke more. Come on, man, you don't want to do that. So the key is to be calm, though it's a dangerous situation you are witnessing, but be calm, pretend like nothing is wrong, just to reassure the person and let the person be calm. Because remember, if the person is stroking out because of excessive high blood pressure, if their pressure is so high and you make them freak out the more, instead of the pressure coming down, now you're going to even jump it up the roof.
But you have to remember that if the person is a loved one, the one that you care about, if it's a stranger, I think you are able to help the person more. But if it's somebody that you love and care so much about, staying calm is very important, but it may be difficult. But you have to be strong for the person if you want the person to survive. So you have to be calm and reassure the person that it's going to be okay.
Definitely. It's very important. I'm saying it like it's easy, but if it hasn't happened to you, you may say it that easily. So I don't know what you guys have witnessed. If you have witnessed a stroke or a heart attack and you want to share with us, put it on the chat. I hope you haven't, because we don't want people around us to be having heart attacks and strokes, right? But if you have experienced anything emergent like that and you want to share your experience, put it on the chat. Let's all see how you did or how you actually overcame the adrenaline rush, that comes with seeing somebody near death in a near death situation. All right. So the key is be calm. It is not easy, but however much you can, calm yourself down first and calm the person down. Because if you do not calm yourself down and you freak out, you are going to make matters worse for the person. You want to reassure them whatever made their pressure go up. If it's from a blood pressure, strike, you want the pressure to come down before the ambulance even happens. If it's a stroke from cholesterol, I mean, there's still a clot somewhere that has happened. You don't want them to increase their pressure and cause an untold damage even more. So that's the key. Stay calm and reassure the person that help is on the way, and stay with the person, right?
Yep.
And let them know that they are going to be all right. That's all that matters at that point. We can move to the next one. Okay, so that's the second one. After knowing and calling the ambulance, you stay there and be calm. Now the next one is monitor the vitals. Monitor the vitals. And this person is checking her own pulse. That's not what you want to do. Come on, man. If somebody is having a stroke, you don't check your pulse. You check that person's pulse. But maybe sometimes we have to check our own pulse because we may be freaking out, right?
Yeah.
All right. So those of you watching from TikTok, join our channel or Dr. Oteng on YouTube so that you can see all the slides that we are showing next time. So just see the name you are watching and make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe. So this person we are seeing here, we actually use this image because we want to show you where the pulse can be checked. If you don't know how to check a pulse, you probably would not think about it that way. But suffice to say that you can check the pulse on their arm and also around their neck area, so to see that their heart is beating.
Right.
If their heart is beating, you know that they are safe, at least for that moment, while you keep them on the floor and wait for help to come. The other reason why, before even that, if you don't want to check or touch this person, you can just observe whether or not their chest is rising and going down, if they are breathing. And the way to see somebody's breathing is if their chest is going up and down. And if you can ascertain that their chest is going up and down, you may not need to do any pulse check. Otherwise, you can just watch them and continue to speak and be calm with them right there. But if trying to check their pulse, nothing happens, you don't see them breathing, and of course you can't get any pulse, you may have to spring into action to do what we call a CPR.
Yeah.
And we probably should show people how to do a CPR sometime.
That's a whole course.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what it takes, we can do that. Definitely show more concern by trying to help that person breathe again, doing a CPR if you are a certified CPR provider. If you are not certified, or if you are certified, you don't want to touch somebody, especially if it's a stranger, that's fine. And mind you, not all CPRs require mouth-to-mouth, breathing. So somebody may say that I don't want to breathe through somebody's mouth that I don't know. You don't have to. Even the mere chest compressions. If you do 30 chest compressions without a mouth-to-mouth, you are saving their lives. So that's what I call CPR. For no matter whether or not you include, the mouth-to-mouth breaths. So if you can provide that, especially when you see there's no pulse or there's no breathing, that would be going further to protect that person from dying. It's a possibility. You may have to do that. If you are the only person that has this information and no healthcare professional is around, and you hear us, you may be the one to save that person's life. But again, if you are not certified CPR provider, you don't do it. All you got to do is to just wait for the ambulance, stay with them, and wait for the ambulance to come. All right.
Yeah, and as if you are not certified and you want help, you can still talk through them. Talk with them, engage
them.
engage them,
That way
so
they'll
that
continue
continue to relax and calm themselves down by just talking softly with them. If you are a Christian, that will be a time that maybe you can say some prayers with
Oh,
the
come on,
person.
when you blow your tongue right there, right?
Yeah. And the next point is you don't have to give the person food or drink. It's very important, because sometimes if somebody's going through the situation, maybe the first thing that will come into your head is, oh, let's give them water to drink. Let's give them something to eat, especially if you know they are or maybe you think that they are diabetic, they are low in sugar. So be like, oh, let's give them orange juice. Let's give them something. There may be more to it than what you think. So in order to be safe, or maybe you have to hold on a little bit, don't give them water and don't give them food to eat. The reason being that if you put maybe the water or the food into their mouth, they will not be able to push it down because of the weakness or whatever they are going through. So you just have to wait for
Emergency
the
people.
emergency people to come and take over than to give them water or food to drink.
Definitely.
Or food to eat.
Yeah, I know you. I mean, she started by saying you're the good Samaritan, so you want to take care of them. Their food needs, their everything. I know Gifty is caring. You know what I'm saying? you want to make sure they are not hungry. Some people even collapse because of low sugar. So
Yeah, low
maybe
sugar.
you can tell this person's diabetic. This is probably because he or she is hungry. Please don't give him the sugar yet. If they collapsed already, don't. If before they collapsed you could, then fine. But not after they are lying down and stroking out or whatever is happening to them because of the chance for aspiration. If you give them something, it may eventually stop them from being able to breathe because they cannot swallow. It will come up and then clog or stop their lungs from actually being able to receive oxygen or to breathe out carbon dioxide. So that is why no matter how much you think they may be hungry or how much they even ask you, sometimes the people dare themselves for, give me water. I need water. I'm thirsty. Tell them, bro or sis, you can be thirsty all you want. This is not the time because we got to save you first. Because you may end up killing them just by feeding them or giving them a drink. And so don't feel bad when they ask you for water and you are saying that, oh, I'm not a difficult person. I could actually give you juice. I could give you juice. What is water? Come on, man. Let me give you something more heavy. No, don't. You may be hurting them. That's very important that you do. Do not give them water or juice or food for that matter. All right. I think we can go to the next one. I think we're about to wrap up. Don't leave yet. So the next three, I think these are the last ones. Is note the time, because we said that time is life. When you're having stroke, time is of the essence. When you see somebody going through those things, note the time. If you can just quickly glance at your Apple Watch or your Android watch or any clock, or if you have no watch, your phone watch, just make sure you take note of the time. Because when you have the time of the incidents handy, when the emergency people arrive, you may do them good. In fact, they will ask what time it happened. And when they know when the stroke happened or started happening, they can know what kind of medications they should give to this person. For example, if it is less than 30 minutes, they may be able to reverse a lot of the symptoms. It took less than 30 minutes for them to come or for help to arrive. There are certain medications they can give to stop the stroke from progressing. If it is more than 1 hour, it will also tell them what kind of medications to give. So time it's important that you note the time that that happened on there. So that is very important. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, and I think the next one is when the emergency people come, you have to be of help if you have anything that you can do to help. So, like, I think you have to provide information. Aside the time, you can also give more information. If the person is a family member, you may have all the medications that they are taking. So, the best thing you can do is to put all their medications together and just hand it over to them, because sometimes they want to know what they are taking to give them idea the condition. So if they know that the person is on cholesterol med, they know that the person may have high cholesterol. On blood pressure, they know. So any information that you can gather to give to them, just do it. If you know the person so well, the person is allergic to something, you can also let them know. Or anything, any little help you can give to them, you just have to gather together and give it to them. And I'm sure they will the patient will appreciate it when they come around.
Definitely, 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 definitely. And I think Joa Walkins said that there are messages on TikTok live. Unfortunately, the TikTok video is so far from me, I can't see from where it is. So if you had any messages, any questions on TikTok, just use that TikTok feature to send to me. I will respond after the show, because right now I cannot see because the phone is far away. And I know some people requested to join us live. Unfortunately, we can't do that. And hopefully, we have other shows where we can be interactive. In fact, we have to do that, but time is of the essence. So we are trying. We will try. Yeah, but those who are sending messages on TikTok, we are not ignoring you because we want to. It's just that we can reach the phone. In the future, we hopefully will have a software where we can actually bring your comments on live, like those watching from YouTube and Facebook. And so I apologize for that. But definitely take note of the name on the TikTok live is Dr. Oteng. And if you go to YouTube, you can see us. Just subscribe there so that next time, and hit the bell button too, so that next time when we go live, you can definitely interact with us on the live. I'm sorry about that. We can't respond to those. So thank you. Adjo says, okay. Because Adjo is watching from YouTube, and she's watching both. And I thank you for letting us know. All right, most of our viewers are on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Facebook. It's where most people are. But we appreciate those on YouTube, because YouTube is where it's up. Hopefully, you can join us on YouTube next time. All right. So you talked about the help, the ER, right?
Info, yeah.
Provide info. Talk to them. I wasn't listening because I was trying to catch up. So
yeah, I did. I talk about them gathering medication that they're taking,
the information.
the
Okay.
information, if they're allergic to anything
Great.
that they know, everything, a little history about them or their
perfect.
condition, you can share with the
emergency people. And when about the transport, I think it's just I think the only important thing I should say, you didn't talk about transport yet.
No.
The transportation to the hospitals. If you are in the West, if you're in the US, in Europe, or in Australia, in Canada, in any of those advanced places where emergency services are on point, you don't need to touch a patient unless if you are going to give them a CPR or something, or maybe help them lie down on their side when they're about to fall. Apart from that, you just call, and within minutes, in fact, depending on how remote your place is, there's always an emergency service there. The ambulance will be there, and you don't need to do anything. But the sad thing is that's not how the whole world is. Other places don't have it. And so if you're in a place where emergency is not easy, in fact, in some places, even when you call, they can't even come to the place where you are. Why? Because of the road network, or the fact that telecommunication lines are not good. You cannot even communicate to, the hospital or the emergency room for them to come and get this person. So in that place, in those places, you may have to take matters into your own hands. by either driving this person quickly to the ER yourself or arranging for some other form of transportation. Otherwise, you may actually lose the person. So that is definitely important, that for places where emergency services are not really reliable, I should say, sometimes you may have to be the ambulance driver in your car. Just make sure that you don't let that person stay home. And when people are getting sick, I know some people, the most stubborn people are people who are sick. They will refuse to go. Oh, I'm fine. Leave me alone. I was just daydreaming. Oh, yesterday I didn't have enough sleep. That's why. But meanwhile, this person that is looking at you saw the droop coming, even though the droop may have gone away. You know, that person saw that you were falling on one side and you are still saying that, no, I'm good. No, if somebody does that, drag them in your own car and bring them to the hospital. They will thank you later, because when you bring them, they can save them from getting a full-blown stroke or a repeat TIA for that matter, a repeat mini stroke for that matter. And so depending on where you are, you may need to be the person who is the ambulance driver in your own car, or even in a taxi or truck or coach or whatever form of transportation it is. But we just want to make sure that we are complete, that it's not everywhere that emergency services are good. So as long as you have seen the fast, those three things we mentioned, as long as you have seen them happening in that person, convince them, or most likely, if they are in your family, don't give them the benefit of staying home. Bring them to the hospital yourself. And so that's what I wanted to say with the transport.
Yeah, and with the transport, I think even here, some people complain that if you call 911, the bill that they will bring you after is so huge, especially if you don't have insurance, or if your insurance has a high deductible. It's such that you don't want to risk it because the bill will be too high, and you may not even need the ambulance after all. So some people will resist, like you're saying, fight you. You don't have to call. I'm fine, that kind of thing. But definitely, when you're sure of the signs that the person is showing, just convince them and take them. End of the day, you're going to leave the money behind and somebody else to enjoy it. So why don't you use the money on you to save your own life?
Definitely. So that's what's up. Definitely make sure that you are doing that, and not forget that it is important that you bring the person into a place where they can be saved. So with that being said, I think there is one take home. We're going to do the take home, and then we will move. So the key take home, as it's on the screen, you give to say your take home, and then we will close the show. So what's the take home for today?
Oh, time is life during a stroke.
Time is life during a stroke. Time is life.
Act fast, right?
Yes, time is life during a stroke, an impending stroke. So act fast. Act like your life depends on it. Fast. Act, FAST. That being said, let's go over them again. Act if you see a facial droop.
Act if you have weakness
weakness
in the arm, then definitely you have to act.
And then act if you see a slurred speech, or inability to talk or comprehend, or even be in a conversation. If you see that, you must act, because that may be the difference between saving them and making them die. And then
the T is time to call 911.
Call 911, call 999, wherever you are. Call the emergency line, because you may be saving them because you did. And with that, I think we have come to a very good point in our show. I don't see much of if you are watching and you didn't hit the like or the thumbs up, you are actually being stingy with your thumb. I don't know why you can't put a thumbs up on there. So please, whether you're watching live or you're watching at the replay, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And I see a lot of people from TikTok also following, and we want to say thank you for following and for staying on the live. So this time we're about to close up. If you join later and you have any comments, I asked one question, that if you have been involved in any emergency situation. Tell us what you did, if you did anything, how you felt about it. And I know that some people have, and they felt good about it after saving people's lives. And so it may just be a little bit of a sacrifice, but definitely let us know. And let's keep the conversation going. So that is what I would say. And with that being said, I don't know if we have anything, just except to say that those who are watching later, we're going to put some videos on these in these boxes. Just make sure you click them and subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and also hit the bell button so that whenever we go live, you will be able to see us. With that being said, what do we say? Beloved or dear friend,
we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
And God bless you.